Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Cal Royal. This is their part number SBBH-35. This is a hinge from Cal Royal, and it's a nice hinge. I like this hinge a lot. This I believe to be probably the last of its kind from Cal Royal, and what I mean to say is it doesn't have their giant logo on it. So this is, at this time of this video, new hinges are likely going to have a logo from Cal Royal. My problem with the logo is it's simply too large. They have every right to be proud of their company because they're an excellent company, but their logo is, you know, bigger than that asteroid at the end of the movie Armageddon. It's unnecessarily large. But this hinge is exquisite, with or without the logo, meaning the finish is beautiful for what it is. It is a ball-bearing hinge, solid brass, has the feature of all the high-end hinges with the threaded tips. This is a button tip. Looks like a button on a shirt is why they call it a button tip. Decorative tips would be available for this. This hinge is 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch, and the height is always the first dimension on a hinge like this. And while this is a square hinge, you really can't go wrong, but imagine if you had a solid brass hinge that was 3.5 by 5. Okay, it's important to know that you don't have a 5-inch tall hinge, you have a 5-inch wide hinge because that's the second dimension. Just etiquette lecture, I suppose, forgive me. Again, solid brass. The gauge of the material is .123, 123 thousandths, so basically 1/8 of an inch, which would be normal for a 3.5 inch commercial grade hinge. This is available in lots of different finishes on solid brass. US3 for polished brass, US5 for antique brass, US10B for oil rub bronze, US15 for satin nickel, US15A for antique nickel, US26 for polished chrome, and US26D for satin chrome. The information down below this video, the extended description information, tells us that screws are included. These are also solid brass, so be cautious of putting them in. You'll want to pre-drill properly. You want to have a really nice fitting number 2 Phillips drive to get those in. You don't want to strip those out. Brass is softer. This is a ball bearing hinge too, and there's a bearing packet between the first and second and then 4th and 5th knuckles. That makes it an exceptionally long-lasting, reliable hinge. If you're building a home and you have the option, or whatever construction project you're doing, frankly, if you have the option between plain bearing and ball bearing, go for ball bearing, even if it's just a residential application. It's not going to matter so much day one, but by the 20th year, the one door to the basement, let's say, that everyone goes down to, that door is going to show significant use and wear on that, especially the top hinge. So word to the wise, if you can, go with ball bearing. Absolutely go with ball bearing. The longevity of the hinge is outrageously increased with that. 5 knuckle. This is a full mortise hinge. You can see from the swag on the hinge leaves that they're meant to be mortised flush to the edge of the door and frame when the leaves are brought parallel to each other. Okay. This would be considered a template pattern, a standard location for the screw holes, and there is a link below this video to the template where you can review those dimensional properties. This hinge is sold as priced as each. However, Cal Royal does not like to break boxes, so plan on buying them in multiples of 2. That's not good if you have a single door and you need 3. If you place an order for 3, we're probably going to call you and say, do you want 2 or 4? So keep that in mind. Just order them in multiples of 2 regardless. And then again, those optional tips. Ball tip is the most common of the decorative tips. Steeple tip can be done as well on decorative tips. Okay. Finally, there is a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Cal Royal products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. If you have any questions on the Cal Royal, this is their part number SBBH-35, 3.5, 3.5, commercial grade ball bearing hinge in a US26 finish, polished chrome, or any other, it would be more properly called 625 finish, because that means polished chrome on a brass base material. Questions on this or any other Cal Royal product, please feel free to reach out to us. And